important to understand why we sing, what we sing, where we sing, how we sing, the words we sing.
Welcome to another episode of Why We Sing. I am Candace Dixon, the director of Why We Sing here at United Christian Faith Ministries. And I am elated today to have with us none other than the Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome of Baton Rouge.
Thank you, Candace. So glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being here. You know, you were one of the first people I thought about when I took over this role to have actually host Why We Sing.
Why did you think about me?
So because I know that you love music.
Yes, I do.
From previous conversations that we've had.
Yes.
And because just being new to this, I know your background and I know how wonderful you are when it comes to, you know, your experience in interviewing people and just you being the leader of this city. I thought it would be great to have you on the show.
Well, I am humbled and privileged to be on your show.
Great. I'm glad we finally had the opportunity to connect and do this. But speaking of your love for music, I know, like I said, that you have a great love for music. Where did that come from?
Yeah, you know, I have often thought about my love for music. I believe it was birthed out of just my overall love for the arts since I've been a child. But I have to tell you a little known fact. You may know this fact. You may have heard me say it before. But I grew up taking classical piano lessons. I think I started at the age of 7. Now, it was not one of those by choice situations. It was one where my teacher told my parents, you know, it would be good to get her started in piano lessons. Little did I know then, and after becoming an adult, the impact that music has on your creative thinking ability, your analytical thoughts. You know, music has a really broad impact on you. So when I took classical piano, I have to tell you, I was not very good at it. I could read music, but there were so many other folks, you know, that were more prolific than I was. I took lessons for about 10 years until I got in high school. And I've told my parents, that's it. When I became a senior, I'm done. Because I wasn't committed, you know, to the practicing. I dreaded it. I dreaded the recitals that we had to do. A spirit of fear would always try to grip me when we had these recitals. I knew the music, and then I would get up there, and I would it was not a good situation. But I believe that was embedded in me, this whole music. So it didn't stop me from loving piano or music or songs. And so I really think that love was birthed with those piano lessons. And eventually I came back to the piano, another little known fact, after an adult. Not being a prolific gospel music person, piano player, but I was part of a church that needed someone to play the keyboards. And I just said, okay, Lord, I'll help. I don't know how much I can do here, but I'll help. So, you know, I ended up being the praise leader for a church for quite a number of years and playing the keyboard. But, you know, I haven't done that for years now, too. So if the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. I haven't lost the ability to read music, but I haven't practiced. But guess what?
What?
And I know I'm taking much too long probably with this.
No.
Somebody just blessed me with a keyboard because I said I wanted to start reigniting my music, just not to play publicly, but the impact that music has. And it's a happy place for me.
So you mentioned that you were the praise leader. I did not know that, of a church
Yes.
for a while.
Yes.
So when it comes to being a praise leader and being in that role, I know there's a lot there that you kind of have to be cognizant of when you're thinking about praise and worship in a church setting. How was that?
Well, as I said, I was not prolific in music. I don't have, I'm far removed from having a Nancy Armstrong voice and skill. But I believe being a praise leader starts with making a joyful noise unto the Lord. I think it starts with the willingness to praise and understand the power of praise and enjoy it. I just used to enjoy the experience, the songs, learning the songs, the music, all of that really fed my spirit and my soul. So it was really, a praise leader is really a motivator. A praise leader says, hey, we're going to praise the Lord this morning. And, everybody's like, yeah, let's get into it. So there are certain skills, I do believe, that should coincide with being a praise leader. But I think some of the basic ones start with a love for God and making a joyful noise unto the Lord and understanding scriptures like he inhabits the praises of his people, and not necessarily praising publicly, but starting to praise and create a worship of an environment rather of praise and worship in your home. I love to listen to music in my home. My folks, security detail will tell you I love music in the car. I listen to music in the car. So it's just embedded in me. It blesses my spirit.
And I know your faith is very important to you. And you're a member here at United Christian Faith Ministries.
Go UCFM.
Yes. Here at the U, we're happy to have you here. And so I know just from your faith and from the things that you've done over the past couple of years now when it comes to actually having these morning devotionals, prayers with the mayor. Has it been 2 years?
Yes, it's been over 2 years now since I started this Winning Wednesday movement.
And what was the motivation for that?
Well, it started during a season when I was first running for mayor, and we had, a period of prayer, 90 days, then, 100 days or whatever I would have certain periods of prayer. And then after we won the campaign, I carried it on until the end. And then the Holy Spirit prompted me to continue this. And I started it with a 1 day a week, 15-minute inspirational message coupled with prayer. And it's been going on now for over 2 years, nearly 3 years. And I know that God honors faithfulness. And I believe, Candace, there's a message there that so many times people have a heart for ministry. And ministry can take form in a lot of different ways. And I do believe this is a ministry that God gave me, this Winning Wednesday. There have been times people have no idea what goes on behind the scene. There have been times that I've been trying to catch an airplane and do a Winning Wednesday message. There have been times when I have had a speaking engagement at 8 o'clock and I was late getting up and I was trying to get dressed and make sure I had my Winning Wednesday message together and texting people to join the Winning Wednesday message and trying to jump in the car and then get to my destination for 8 o'clock. So there are a lot of stories, but we've been consistent in having the Winning Wednesday messages.
And so I enjoy them. Every Wednesday, I love getting on and hearing what you have to say and hearing your perspective on different things. But getting back to the topic of singing and music, if you had to, because I know you love music and I know you have a lot of different playlists,
yes.
right? But let's say you only could have 3 to 5 songs that you could listen to for the rest of the year. What would those be?
Individual songs or artists? Song.
You can do artists if you want to do artists.
Well, I will tell you the songs that I would have if I could only have 5 songs. Great question, by the way. One would be He Made a Way. And I will tell you that was my cornerstone the first time that I get emotional thinking about it. The first time that I ran for mayor. That song really carried me through because it was a tough season. It was in 2016, as you know, we had a lot that went on in this city. And it was the time that I was running for mayor. And I was directly impacted, as many others were, by the great flood of 2016. So I can remember trying to help people in my neighborhood navigate their way out. And then my family saying, you and Marvin need to get up out of there, you know. And in my mind, I was thinking, we'll be back tomorrow. But we didn't get back until 2017, in October, November of 2017. We were blessed in that my daughter and son-in-law took us in their house with the 3 grandchildren, and he made a way with that. And we were blessed that even during that season where sometimes I was trying to find clothes that were in the trunk, that I was able to, you know, go to debates and go to interviews and, you know, be presentable and be confident in the Lord. And at the end of the day, I won. So that song has a very deep-rooted meaning for me during that season. He Made a Way. Can I look at my playlist and name those 5 songs? I was just thinking about that. I knew it was a reason I put this phone up here that you might ask me a question like that. Let me look, so I don't have to guess at my my 5 songs. I don't want to play them. The first one I said was He Made a Way. The second one is Draw Me Close by Marvin Winans. Okay. Then the third would be The Goodness of God by CeCe Winans. And then the fourth one would be Todd Delaney, Your Great Name. I love that song. And you know, there's some fast songs that I say fast, more upbeat songs. They would be on my Good News mix. You know, now I've been listening a lot to I Want to Thank You by Darlene McCoy. You familiar with that song? Yeah. I love that. And also, so those are 5.
Okay.
But I could give you 10.
I'm sure you could. So I'm glad you kind of went into kind of what that song, you know, meant to you, because that's what I was going to, you know, ask, you know, why those songs? So for the other ones that you mentioned, why those?
Well, you know, they represent my different themes of my playlist. Like I have a playlist that says peace. And so many of those, about 3 of those songs are on, 4 maybe, are on my peace playlist. Darlene McCoy is on 2023 Good News mix, which is a mixture of, you know, a lot of different gospel songs. Some of them represent peace. Some of them are upbeat, you know, like Kirk Franklin. And some of them are more praise. Some of them are more listened to. So my playlist kind of represents my heart about things, about music. Like I have Good News mix. I have peace. I have message music. And message music may be a little gospel, but it may be some of the songs that I grew up on listening to, some secular songs, but they were message music associated. The songs had messages. I have a whole, Kirk Franklin. And recently, I started listening to this Christian jazz list that I found. And so those are just some of the things that kind of represent the segments that I listen to. I think it's a mixture of worship, praise, and et cetera.
Yeah. And so I can just imagine that, your job can be very stressful. And you kind of alluded to that, especially when you talked about running for office was stressful. Yeah. But I'm sure being in the office is stressful. And so having that music to kind of go to when you need to is important. It sounds like you listen to it every day. Every day you're listening to something.
Yeah. Look, I have to tell you, my security detail will tell you I was really frustrated because at one point we were just plug in my iPhone and I could hear the music, but somehow in the car that we have, I couldn't plug it in. And for a long time, we were trying to figure out how do we get the Bluetooth connected to this. And then one day I just said, now, between all of us, we should be able to figure this out because I really love to listen to my music in the morning. And they know it when they come, they know I love my music.
Yeah. So, I can imagine that that's just something that you just have to have. So I get it because I'm the same way. I have to have my music to listen to. And you kind of alluded to how it has the power to change your mood and just help you through situations. And I think people don't necessarily realize the power that music has. And you just coming from a music background, having that experience with music growing up, even though you didn't necessarily like it, but then also having this love for music and kind of that need for it to kind of be able to get through life, because I feel like that's, I needed to get through life. I think that's important. Can you speak to how powerful music is and what that does for you, like on a daily basis, to make sure you can get through the day?
Yeah. When you started that question, I immediately started thinking about how, David was brought in to calm Saul down with the power of music. And so we know even from a biblical perspective, the power of music. And for me, it adds peace, and this is what's really important. This is the key. It's the music, the instruments, but it's also the words. Exactly. And so it's the words coupled with the music. When you listen to the words of, and this secular artist, but made one of the greatest gospel songs. For me, I think is one of the greatest gospel songs by Whitney Houston is, I love the Lord, and every time I hear that, it's just the words to it, coupled with the music is just, really peaceful. And, but then there are songs, that I want to start my day off with, hey, let's do, let's have a praise-a-thon. We're going to praise our way into this this day and this situation. And it motivates me. It encourages me. And as I said, it's the music coupled with the words. I'm keenly aware of the words of songs. And most of the songs that we listen to have or should have in terms of, Christian music, a biblical connection. Mm-hmm. I know Pastor has talked about this, and I believe in this because I have this debate with it's not really a debate, it's kind of a fun thing now with one of my cousins who is definitely old school when it comes to music. And, I'm telling her, don't bring me no Rough Side of the Mountain. I don't want to hear it. That's not me. That's, I said, the Lord didn't tell us we was going to climb up the rough side of the mountain. We could speak to mountains and, so we have this, we laugh about it now. And then there's just some songs that, historically good intentions, good motives, but you know, the more we know about God, the more we know about him and his word, we have seen the evolvement of music. And I think that's great. We've seen the evolvement of music. Now, that doesn't mean we throw away all the past. There are a lot of hymns that I think about that I grew up on. What a friend we have in Jesus. You know, that is a powerful hymn. I surrender all. You know, there are hymns with wonderful messages that still speak to our hearts and resonate with us today.
And What a Friend We Have in Jesus is one of those songs for me that is just so powerful. There's this, thing going around on social media about how the hymns hit different, now that we're older.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And for me, I realized those hymns were hitting different with What a Friend We Have in Jesus. What a privilege it is to carry everything to God. Oh, what peace we forfeit. Oh, my God. And I grew up singing that song. I've sung that song all my life. And it probably wasn't until about 5-6 years ago that I was like, oh, my God. Like, this is...
The words are powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing with us today. This has been wonderful. I think people have gotten a little bit more insight into you. I didn't know, like you being a praise leader at one point, I did not know. I felt like I've known a lot about you, but I did not know about that.
Yes. I've been a woman wearing many hats in my life, and that's one of the hats that I've worn.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.